The name Marvel has burnt its name into people's brains. Even people who don't like the Marvel movies or comics still know the name.
Marvel is a household name, and people from all walks of life know this name. Avengers Endgame has just hit the theaters for the first week, and has already made $1.2 billion, and $859 million in the first 2 days. That tells you all you need to know. People love these movies.
Marvel has always strived to be relatable to every person. Even those characters who might be billionaires, super soldiers, gods, or geniuses,
Much worse.
they still have the characteristics and feelings of normal people. All of this is thanks to one man, Stan the Man Lee. Unfortunately, Stan Lee passed away on November of 2018.
I thought he'd be taller.
But he's always strived for greatness, the perfect heroes.
Stan Lee always preferred heroes to have real-world problems and troubles. His first ever comic and characters were the Fantastic Four in 1961. And it was a massive hit. Unlike the Justice League, who were aliens or superhumans, who would always win at the end of the day, and would go home to mansions or other planets, the Fantastic Four were a family, with family issues and arguments, and would go to a normal home. Audiences loved this type of stories, ones that they could find similarities in.
Why does this always happen to me?
Spider-Man was Stan Lee's personal favourite character that he made. Stan Lee loved this character because he was a kid with normal people's problems. He couldn't get the girl, he had homework to finish.
I can't go to Germany.
Why?
I got homework.
He couldn't pay his rent.
But you know, all I got is this 20 for the rest of the week.
Sorry, doesn't pay the rent. And don't try to sneak past me. I have ears like a cat and eyes like a rodent.
He had to mend his own suit himself.
Lordy, can you even see in these?
Yes, I can't. Look, I can't.
And Peter Parker could have been anyone. He wasn't chosen by some mystical force. It was an accident being bitten by the spider.
I think he's a good influence because he's just like us. He's very relatable. He has to deal with, being a superhero and being a normal school kid as well. So he balances that very well, and that can be very good for inspiring teenagers. Side note, he's a good person.
Now, we can't talk about Marvel without mentioning the MCU, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Iron Man 1 was the first installment to the MCU in 2008 and made $585.2 million. From the start, Marvel had an idea to create more and more movies in one connected universe.
Well, I think he's a good role model. Like, he may be like a billionaire, which is not always as relatable, but he shows how people can be. He starts out a bit like arrogant, but then he has the calling of like him going in the cave, seeing that what he's doing is not that great. So it shows that people can make a change for the better. And like in some of the later movies, it deals with like Tony Stark having PTSD, like anxiety, all that, and that shows that even the best of us can have like the lowest of times, and that shows like how human it is to have like elements and times that you're not feeling too great. Captain America is the perfect example of a perfect superhero. Steve Rogers was picked for the super soldier serum due to being a man of kind heart. Before the experiment, Steve was a nobody. He only wanted to join the army because he wanted to do something that mattered and to protect people. He was a man with kind heart, and he knew the value of strength.
The serum amplifies everything that is inside, so good becomes great, bad becomes worse. This is why you were chosen. Because a strong man who has known power all his life may lose respect for that power, but a weak man knows the value of strength and knows compassion.
Well, from watching from all the movies, he has a good moral center, he's trusted, he adapts to strengths and weaknesses, and he's a good leader in general, and that's what makes people get inspired by other people. He's not the leader of the Avengers for nothing. He obviously stands up for his team and not just telling and bossing people around what to do, but he can work together, and he's like Jesus Christ.
Captain America is a good role model for me, I think, because he has a good set of values and morals, and he stands strong by them. I think he's also a good leader as well.
Peter Quill, aka
Star-Lord,
grew up with no dad, and his mum passed away from cancer. He then was picked up by a man named Yondu, and he spent his childhood being looked after by Yondu. Peter Quill always kept his most important possession, his Walkman, and his mother's awesome mixtape. This gift was what always reminded him of how much his mother meant for him. So he plays the mixtape every single day to remind himself that his mother will always be with him. Since Yondu raised Peter Quill after his mother's death, they grew a father and son bond. Yondu taught Peter how to be tough, confident, and how to be an amazing bounty hunter. Yondu was the father figure for Peter Quill. A lot of people can relate to Peter Quill in a way. A lot of people had to grow up without a mother or father, or even both. He had to cope with not having actual parents. He spent his whole childhood with some alien blue guy, and he was pretty much like a father figure to him. I mean, the only thing that he had that related to his parents were his awesome mixtape and his awesome Walkman.
Captain Marvel hit the theaters with a punch. It was the first MCU movie with a female lead. According to Box Mojo, Captain Marvel has made 1.1 billion of ticket sales.
Yeah, she's independent and she doesn't depend on others, and even when she's betrayed, by people she trusted, she still does the right thing and she doesn't act out in a bad way.
So to wrap this up in a tight bow or whatever, Marvel has changed the way us as a society have come together, watched movies, and have role models. Everyone has been inspired by these movies. People band together to go watch these movies. At the start of Endgame, it says #don't spoil Endgame. That's how much these movies mean to people. So in conclusion, Marvel has helped shape the way our society as a future has gone forth.
And so, my journey had reached its end.
That's it. That's solid. I should have read through this beforehand.